It's in the certainly it's by the 1980s that Hollywood starts coming out with all these movies about the fanatical Arab or the fanatical Muslim and how you need to send Chuck Norris, Sylvester Stallone, and Arnold, you know, to basically kick their butts.
Yeah,
and so, you know, if you think about living in a society where a lot of people who might get their history and politics from going to the movies because they don't like to read, you have a whole generation, basically the generation born in the 1980s, which would be your generation. Well, some of you born in the 90s, I guess. You know, raised on this ideology coming out. That's why I often claim that Hollywood is not a film industry, it's a propaganda industry. Because these films came out about the same time I drove past a National Guard base. I looked over at the vehicles parked on the base, and I said to my wife, I remember we were driving down Victory Boulevard in San Fernando Valley, I said, the next war is going to be in a desert. She said, how do you know that? I said, because nothing is painted camouflage green anymore. It's desert sand. I go, and I don't think it's going to be a Mojave. You know, so that, you know, already with the political establishment was telegraphing this next move, so to speak.
Also, the media has served us.
And Nick, don't leave without asking your question.
I agree with the media. Okay, I was gonna question and a comment. The first question is, you said that you enlisted after 9/11. So, question is, so did you think that Iraq had a connection with 9/11? And whether or not you still think so now?
No, I don't think there was any connection between Iraq and 9/11, and I think if you want a primary source on that, something, not even our government is claiming that anymore. The Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, their review of the pre-war statements made by the administration versus the intelligence that was available, there was no connection between Al-Qaeda and Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein wouldn't tolerate a connection with Al-Qaeda. He didn't want competition. He didn't want regional competition. Saddam Hussein wanted Saddam Hussein in Iraq and as a power for that region. He wanted nothing to do with Al-Qaeda. He certainly wasn't going to provide them with weapons of mass destruction, which he also wasn't producing, which we know now. Same source, Senate Select Committee on Intelligence. So yeah, no connection there. And then with
but you enlisted after 9/11.
After 9/11, but before Iraq, right?
Okay.
Before the invasion of Iraq. So I was on the mess deck of the USS Iwo Jima with the 26th Marine Expeditionary Unit when George Bush came on TV and said Saddam has 24 hours to get out. And the reaction of a lot of the guys in my battalion was, "What? Seriously? We're gonna actually invade Iraq? You know? And what are we going to do once we're in there? You know, the invasion is the easy part. That's the part that we excel at. It's what are you going to do once we invade? Which is the most
And like the comment I was going to make was before when we were talking about enlistment or conscription versus volunteer military. I've been reading articles recently talking about how the military has actually been able to meet its quotas recently, the past like 3-4 or since October, because of the poor economy.
Yeah.
And that people are actually joining the military in order to get a stable paycheck and in order to get the benefits, et cetera, et cetera.
economic draft.
Yeah, exactly. So it seems to be that the argument that, you know, with the volunteer army, you have people who are there for the cause, who are there, you know, with the idealism of the military and serving this country, et cetera, seems to go out the window at the point where people are just joining the military for economic reasons.
Yeah, that and the fact that you, in terms of meeting the quotas, you just lower the quotas and you lower the standards. You know, you start taking the guys with prior criminal convictions and who haven't graduated from high school and aren't sure which way is up. You just drop the standards in the gutter and lower your quotas, and you reach your quotas all the time. And if you put that in the middle, like, yeah, we're still meeting our recruiting quotas. And in terms of the economic draft, it's very real. Jabbar Magruder, the former LA chapter president, while he loves being a soldier, one of the things he said when he was re-enlisting is, I can't get a job. ain't gonna drive. So yeah, it's a real issue. I actually wanted to ask you a question. In terms of her statement about the media. The media in Vietnam was such a huge issue in terms of motivating people back home because it showed images of Americans getting killed. It showed the chief of police of Saigon executing. There were these graphic, very real, very they're in the combat zone images coming out of Vietnam, and that's wholly absent now. But where's her media?
Well, I'll make a comment on that. But although apparently we can stay after 7, but I've seen some people who leave, like Nick Wu. For those of you who are not students in my Vietnam War class, just to summarize the extent of GI resistance during the Vietnam War, I have a little summary, a chronology of significant events, and this fine volunteer here will distribute it. Those of you who were in my Vietnam War class, you've seen this, but for those of you who've never studied the history of soldier resistance during the Vietnam era, to use an expression from the 60s, it just blows your mind that such resistance was so extensive. And this is just a small summation. But I'm tired of sitting. So about the media, I actually, since I was in high school and college and teaching a high school, did those 3 things while the war was on, I really didn't watch lots of TV, but I can tell you that when I saw on the news, say, so